I could have your attention, please. It is so great to see all of you here. It's now 6 o'clock, and I'm going to call the meeting of the Mayor and Council of the City of Carrollton to order. Today's June 6th, and it's 6 p.m. If you'll all stand with me, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, if you'll remain standing with me for just a moment, and Councilman Bridges is going to have our invocation.
Let us pray. Dear great God of heaven, thank you, Father God, for this day. Thank you for waking us up this morning, Lord God, in our right minds, in our health and strength. Lord, I just pray right now that you give all us the mind to lead our community in the way that you see fit, dear Heavenly Father. And I just like to just pray for every person that is in here tonight, Lord God. Bless them, Lord God. Bless their families, Lord God. Lord God, help us as a community to lead these children, Lord God, in the way they must go, Lord God. And as we continue to move forward in our community, Lord God, give us the grace, give us your mercy, and give us peace, and give us joy as we navigate through our community. These and all of the blessings in your dear Son, Jesus Christ's name, we all do pray, and let every heart say, amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Councilman Bridges. We're going to deviate a little bit from our normal agenda in that we have so many special guests with us tonight, and I know some of them might get a little restless if we have to wait and go through all the formalities. Not that I don't want them to know how their city government works, but we're so proud of everything that is done in our city. Our recreation department is one of the departments that probably gets the most recognition with participants because their participants are always really excited and do a great job, whereas maybe the police department's participants aren't quite that way. So anyway, we're very proud of our young people and all of our citizens. But tonight we're going to start out by recognizing our Carrollton Flexet competitive gymnastics team. And they were the 2022 state and regional champions. So I have a certificate of recognition, and what I'll do is I'm going to read I'll read everybody's name, and Miss Donna Ford, who is our director of our gymnastics program, will have all of these, and she will get them to the children. Donna, you want them to meet you out in the hall afterwards, or you want to give them to them at gymnastics? Okay, just to meet you out in the hall? Okay, all right. So it says, Carrollton Parks and Recreation, Carrollton Flexet Competitive Gymnastics Team, 2022 State and Regional Champions. Whereas the Carrollton Flexet Gymnastic Team represented our Carrollton Parks and Recreation Department this 2022 gymnastic meet season, and whereas it gives the mayor and council a tremendous amount of pleasure and pride to express to all the gymnasts, coaches, and parents of the Carrollton Flexet gymnastic team our sincere congratulations for qualifying for and competing in the 2022 USAG XL and Georgia AAU state championships and the Georgia USAG regional competitions, and therefore we are pleased to publicly recognize the following first place winners of these competitions. So what I'd like is if I call your name, Miss Donna and Miss Julie, if y'all will come up here with the gymnasts so that y'all can line them all up right here, and I will call your names. First place, AAU Level 3 Team Award, Carrie Marino. Is Carrie here? Okay. All right. Lily Lovern, Addie Beth Nesbitt, Hollis Perrin, Hannah Hall, Madeline Eady, on the inside, yeah. Reese Justice, Audrey Owing, Macy Mullis, Elena Sneeden, Carson Ward. Okay, our first place AAU Bronze Team Award goes to Bailey Nesbitt, Shelby Nicholson, Ava Martin. Okay, I may need some help, Miss Donna. Is it Yoan? Yoan, and the last name is Gutierrez. Okay, close enough. Logan Brass. I thought Miss Stacy and I had gone through all this, but I guess I missed that one. Kate Justice, Lindy Lovern, Zoe Wicks, Elsie Jo Porter, Paisley Eady. Okay, and our Georgia State champions, Kelly Marino, AAU Level 3, first place beam and all around. Hollis Perrin, AAU Level 3, first place vault and bars. Hannah Hall, AAU Level 3, first place beam and all around. Bailey Nesbitt, AAU Bronze, first place vault, beam, and all around. And Shelby Nicholson, AAU Bronze, first place bars, all around. Ava Martin, AAU Bronze, first place vault, bars and beam. Logan Braswell, AAU Bronze, first place bars. Lena Carroll, AAU Silver, first place bars, floor, and all around. Dylan Campbell, AAU Silver, first place vault, bars, beam, all around. Scarlett Diaz, Colorado, USGA XL Gold, first all around. XL Regionals, Scarlett Diaz, Colorado, USAG XL Gold, first place vault. And we want to express our appreciation for their fine efforts. I proudly present the certificate as an expression of our admiration, signed this 6th day of June, 2022, Mayor Betty Kaysen. All right, let's give them all a hand.
I like this one. like her.
We got another one?
Yeah, we got one more.
Okay, we'll give those a minute to exit the building. You're welcome. Okay. We will continue with our recognitions, and this is a certificate of recognition, Carrollton Parks and Recreation Track and Field Team, the 2022 GRPA State Champions. Whereas it gives the Mayor and Council a tremendous amount of pleasure and pride to express to all the players, coaches, and parents of the Carrollton Parks and Recreation's Track and Field Team our sincere congratulations for qualifying and competing in the 2022 GRPA State Track and Field Competition. Whereas the 140 athletes that competed this season with Coach Ora Chisholm and Coach Bradley McLester had an exceptional year, whereas the team had 54 individual along with 7 relay teams qualify for the GRPA state track meet, of which 26 individuals and 1 relay team placed in the top 8 in their individual events. And whereas the 23 individuals along with the 5 relay teams earned a medal by placing in the top 3 places, and whereas Carrollton had a record of 17 GRPA state champions, 14 individual and 3 relay teams crowned. Now, therefore, we are pleased to publicly recognize the following first place winners of the 2022 GRPA state and track field competition. Trinity Ackles. And as I call your name, if you will come and stand down here, Miss Julie, Coach, y'all want to come down and help them line up? Okay. Peyton Bexley, Dash Bracken, Jaden Harris, Journey Johnson, Kanaya Jones, Kimona Jones, Hudson Lopes, Tamara McKinney, Caden Nunn, Copeland Phillips, Kobe Pinkard, Amavi Smith, Mike Springer, Marcellus Talley, Grayson Walt Hall, Amara Williams. Okay, let's give, for their fine efforts, I proudly present the certificate as an expression of our admiration, signed this 6th day of June, 2022. Let's give them all a round of applause. Okay, at this time, we'll go back to our original agenda now, and it's come to my attention that we have no citizens' comments at this time. So we have the minutes of our May 2022 meetings. Do I have a motion to adopt these minutes?
I'd make a motion we approve the minutes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Mayor and council announcements, comments. Mr. Waters, we'll start with you. You're going to pass, okay. Mr. Ledbetter?
Well, I just like to say I hope everyone had an opportunity to get out this past weekend. There were a lot of activities going on in our community. The concert Saturday night was awesome. Thank you to Rayland Construction, who was celebrating their 50th anniversary, and had Mark Bouchard, who was wonderful, and there was a big crowd there, so I hope everybody will take advantage of these free concerts that are put on at the AMP during the summer and enjoy all the activities that are coming ahead for the 4th of July and things like that. So that's it.
Councilman Ogle?
What a treat. I always wanted to be in a picture with a bunch of future Olympians. I'd like to bring to everybody's attention the date today is June 6th. It's the 78th anniversary of D-Day, a day when thousands of young Americans began the effort to free Europe from the grip of Nazi Germany. 4,400 Americans died that day for our freedom. Let us not take it for granted. I'd also like to thank Ben and Christy Garrett and everybody at Ray Lynn for the incredible job they did this weekend. If you didn't get to the barbecue tasting, you missed out. That was a great fundraiser, and the concert very successful in raising money for the new neurology center at Tanner Hospital. What a great thing. One of our favorites, Mayfest, has come and gone. Thank you to everybody that came and enjoyed that, and the folks that put it together. We got a lot to be thankful for in Carrollton. That's it.
Councilman Bridges?
Good evening, everybody. I would just like to thank April and her staff for always giving us a lot of entertainment. We have a lot of entertainment in the city of Carrollton, and I want to thank them for that. And then I want to thank the community for giving us so many opportunities to grow in the times that has been the worst ever in history. But in the city of Carrollton, we still had an opportunity to grow. I invite everyone to come out Saturday to a Clothing Our Community event. It's held on Saturday at Legends West Park, 215 4th Street, from 2 to 5. Everybody's welcome to come out for food, fun, and activities. I also would like to thank all the leaders in the community for participating in the prayer meeting, what was led by Officer McDowell. And a couple preachers came out, a couple leaders came out, and we prayed for our community in our city. And that's what we should be doing in our community, praying for one another. Because I feel like we are most powerful when we are one, when we can work together and grow together as we stay together in our community. And the last one, I would like to thank our fire department and police department for doing a great job in our community for the safety of the citizens in the city of Carrollton. And we appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I will echo everything that's been said tonight, and it's just wonderful to live in a city where we have so many activities. And tomorrow morning, I was preparing for a presentation as the state of the city to make to the Chamber of Commerce. And so as I've been working on it for the last few days, when I sit down and I start trying to fit in 10 minutes of the accomplishments the great things that have gone on in this city in the last year. It's hard to fit all that into a 10 minutes speech. We have so much to be proud of. Our employees work so hard. These things don't just happen. It takes a lot of effort for a concert. You've got your street department, you've got your police department, you've got our sanitation department. All these people working together to make this work. And without them, it would not be successful. And without you, it would not be successful. And I'm just so happy that we are able to do that here in Carrollton today still, because there's a lot of cities that have lost so much funding during COVID and because of the economic times that they're not able to do those things. And we are very blessed here. So I just want to say thank you to all our employees who work very diligently to be able to provide the services that we provide to our citizens. And with that, I will turn it over to our fearless leader, Mr. Brooks, for his comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just echo what everybody else has said. Hope everybody had an opportunity to enjoy some of our downtown fun this past weekend. I was able to, we had David Pippin playing on acoustics on the square Friday, and it was nice to see folks milling around listening to him and having dinner or just hanging out. The concert, as everybody's mentioned, on Saturday was was a great event, and thanks to Ray Lynn, and we really do appreciate them. They're moving into the downtown area, and they're a nationwide company. I mean, they build all over the country, and for them to put their headquarters in downtown Carrollton was really big for us. We're very appreciative of that. And just like to commend Kent Johnson and his folks as the weather's opened up, and we are having things downtown, and we got those two new parks over at 4th Street Parks over at 4th and Alabama. They look great, and very proud of those. And Kent and his crew are doing a great job keeping the grounds clean and up in the upkeep and the weeds gone, and I mean, everything just looks really nice. And it's a priority of ours. It's a priority of this mayor and council that our city be look great when anybody comes to it, and he's doing a great job doing that. And I just appreciate all their work.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of agenda items for consideration. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any object, same sign. Hearing none, we will move on. We've already completed item 1 and 2. So the next item is a rezoning request that is at, I'm going to have to bring this closer, 566 Noonan Road. It's a C3 neighborhood commercial to a CT general commercial. And is Erica, oh, okay, all right, Mr. Brooks is going to take care of that. Okay, yeah. Before we get into this, I'd like to read something because we have actually 3 rezoning requests. And I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you having interest in what's going on in your community. But since a lot of you may not have previously attended a public hearing on a zoning request, I want to quickly review our public comment procedure. No person in attendance shall speak unless formally recognized. Upon rising to speak, each person recognized shall state their name and home address. Speakers must not employ tactics of intimidation, profanity, or threats of violence in their comments. All comments shall be directed to the mayor and council, not to the petitioner or those in opposition. In accordance with Georgia law, each side, not each individual, each side is allowed 10 total minutes of public input. This means that all of those speaking in favor of a request have a total of 10 minutes, and all those speaking in opposition to the request have a total of 10 minutes. If one side chooses to nominate one person to speak on their behalf, one individual can use all 10 minutes. Otherwise, limit individual comments to 3 minutes per person. Time devoted to questions and answers that the elected officials may ask should not be counted against any time limitations. Since we do have limited time, please try to avoid restating what another person may have already said. And I plan to enforce this, okay? So, we're all adults here, and we want to hear what you have to say, but we're going to do it in an orderly manner, okay? All right. So our first request is 566 Noonan Road.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first request is from Alma Campos, 0.47 acres more or less on 566 Noonan Road. They're requesting a rezoning from C3 to C2. The Planning Commission voted to recommend approval with conditions of the rezoning request. The applicant is requesting the rezoning in order to utilize the existing building for a vehicle repair body shop, and the recommendation for approval was contingent upon the following condition. The applicant must adhere to the site design standards for the commercial developments in the Unified Development Ordinance, including landscaping, sidewalks, parking, and building facades. As I said, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval. It was unanimous, 6-0, and the applicant was there speaking in favor, and there was no one in opposition at the Planning Commission meeting. And I think that the applicant may be here tonight to speak in favor of the rezone.
Okay. Okay, if you will speak into the mic, state your name, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Isa Campos, and I'm the daughter of Alma Campos, and I'm representing her today along with my husband, Jose.
Okay, and your address?
566 Noonan Road.
Okay, all right. You may continue.
The purpose of this use, as David Brooks stated, it's for the automotive body shop. That's the purpose that we want to rezone at 566 Noonan Road.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone here that opposes this rezoning request? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to grant the rezoning?
I so move that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. So what this means, Ms. Campos, is that it is rezoned and with the conditions that were given to y'all at the Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you so much.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome. Have a great day. Okay, our next rezoning request is North Winds Boulevard, Wisteria Landing, Phase 2. It's an R20 single-family residential to a residential PUD applicant, Nat Ackerman. Mr. Ackerman? Okay, all right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is John Bass with Georgia and West. Working with Blackwit Partners on the project. I am here. Nat Ackerman with Blackwit had intended to be here. He ran into an emergency today, so he apologized. He was not able to come due to his emergency, but I am here to talk to you about the project and answer any questions that you may have. I guess a real brief history on there. This project was a planned development with triplexes being planned. I believe there's 24 that got built back in the early 2000s. There was 57 total planned triplex units. They had built all the infrastructure in there, obviously the loop that the buildings that are out there are on, but there's also an outer road, all the sewer, water, storm, power is in there. It fell by the wayside in the recession back in '09. And what they're looking to do is, since it got downzoned a while back from PD to R20, Blackwood's plan is to get it to rezone to PD for 31 single-family detached houses. As part of that, there was an agreement made. You'll have it in your concept. The outer loop road, which a majority of the new lots will face, they agreed to tear out the old road because it's a small one-lane private street, no curb and gutter. They did agree that they would be willing to tear that road out and rebuild it to city standards and let it become a city street. So you see that on this plan as part of the project.
Now, when you say the current road, original road, you talk, is that North Winds Boulevard? Is that
No, you got two private streets in there that come off North Winds. The one loop that's Wisteria Lane, where all the existing houses are today. You see that? That's the smaller loop. That one's existing. The one that's being torn out and replaced is that proposed Street A. It's the outermost road. That is an existing private drive, one-lane road that's out there today.
You say there's infrastructure for sewer and water already in the ground where the road is proposed currently. Is that right?
Power.
And what?
And power. There's
Okay,
street
and-
lights and transformers and stuff.
If I could interject, we did go to the planning commission, and the planning commission voted 6-0 to approve with conditions, and the conditions where the developer shall establish enforceable declaration of covenants and restrictions, including all covenants constituting zoning conditions, and shall establish a property owners association with the right and obligation to enforce such covenants and restrictions prior to issuance of building permits for a single-family residence. Staff would also recommend as conditions that there would be proof of accessibility for the lots fronting the private road. They shall be provided prior to final plat approval. And then the portions of the private drive that will be utilized by new construction shall be repaired, paved, and maintained by the POA prior to issuance of any certificate of occupancy for the single-family homes. So the one street would be torn up, built to city standards, curb, gutter. It would be, and then become a city street. The portion of the private drive that will have the new builds on it, they would have to repair, pave that portion of it, and maintain it. And then with hopes of us as the city being able to find have the owner of the remainder of the drive to repair and pave that portion as well.
Do we have any idea who owns the other portion of that street?
I don't right now, and they have not done title on this yet, so that for us to be able to really understand what was done back in the day for this. Obviously, this was planned with private streets to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's a POA that ever got set up. We don't know what easements got set forth as far as ingress, egress, all that stuff. So that is the plan, is once we get zoning for them to then start putting money into this to do further study and surveys and stuff to get down to the bottom of it. Who has access rights, who has maintenance responsibilities, and so forth.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of concerns that I have about what's been proposed, and one is, building on this existing private drive that, it just wasn't done very well, to begin with, and is there about 9 or 10 homes that would be built on the existing street? Yeah. So, I mean, I've got some concerns about that. That road just coming in with additional traffic on it, coming in disrepair later on, and then us not have anybody really to hold accountable to that. I am concerned too that all of the plans, even though I hadn't seen an actual plan, the elevations that have been presented are all one-car garages. And so, in most subdivisions, we are restricting people to not park on the street. So if these are 3-bedroom residences and there's one garage, then everybody else has got to park in the driveway, and these are very small lots. So I'm concerned that people are going to end up parking in the yard, which is going to be unsightly, and something that we would prefer not to happen. I originally, until you mentioned tonight, that there's existing infrastructure in place for a layout similar to this. My thought was it would be much better for the new street to be put in between what's presently the property line between the houses, so that the street could be put in properly. All the houses would be on a proper city street. Now, if there was infrastructure put in originally for triplexes, it's been my experience, having dealt with something similar to this, that a lot of this infrastructure may not be able to be utilized and have to be relocated.
Sewer is active and it is a city sewer main through there between the backs of those lots.
Right.
The only thing that I know of is the water line that's looping around the big road that's not already been accepted and operating and being maintained.
Right. But the sewer runs down between the lots, is that correct?
Correct.
I know, but the taps that are existing taps are not for each the individual lot as these are proposed, are they?
No, they would have to do new taps.
They'd have to do new taps.
Where they don't
Yeah.
already feed to a lot.
Right. That's going to be an expensive endeavor to retap all those.
Well, and that's why we had looked on the front end about doing the road, like you said, but it just, even with that, there's too much money.
Yeah.
And having to redo, you literally just about have to redo everything, except for the sewer main. It could stay under the road, but.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they're not going to run into having to redo a whole lot of it anyway.
Well, they foresee doing a lot, but not replacing an entire main.
Right.
And services, yes, but not an entire main.
Right. Yeah. But
I get it. If it wasn't developed, it would be a whole different story.
Right.
What we've been trying to do, and we've had a number of people come to us interested in this, but most people, when they see the level work, they're like, moving on. I really think this would be an asset for the city to fill this void, and make use of these utilities and services that are there, and the opportunity that North Winds, the Senior Living Center, put in over here. So in light of that,
how large are those lots, John? The average lot? I know there's some that are bigger than others.
Yeah, they're 4,000 to 8,000 square feet.
Okay. And what kind of frontage on the road, on the main street, would they have?
Minimum lot width is 40 feet.
Okay.
I think the minimum frontage is 35.
Well, probably be, if it's 40 foot and they're going to adhere to I think it's 8 foot between homes, or you have to use fire-rated material?
Yeah, our proposed site is 5, so we'll have 10 between each house.
Okay. Yeah, so if you've got a 40-foot wide lot, then more than likely the house is only going to be 30-foot wide. Hence is why they've proposed single-car garages. So,
I mean, I think they would be open if, and I don't have the floor plans to know if they're planning 3-bedroom, but if I think that I could say they'd be willing to accommodate on-site parking for each lot based on the bed count, if that's
Yeah.
necessary.
yeah, it's been my experience that if you've got 3 bedrooms, you're going to end up one day with 3 cars. And so I'm wondering where people are going to park. If you got a car in the garage and one in the driveway, and the driveway's, 12 foot wide or whatever, then you're going to have people parking in the yard or parking on the street. So I,
Widen the driveway for those particular houses to
yeah,
accommodate it.
yeah.
Quick question. So the current homes out there, and maybe you already answered this, are they 2-car driveways or 2-car
What's
garages?
currently
There are no
out
garages.
there?
There are no garages
They
at
just
all.
park all out.
Yeah.
front.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at it
Yeah.
online, and I see a bunch of cars parked in front.
We would not want to accept what's out there today. I would not want to accept some more triplexes with no garages and people parking everywhere. And that's part of my concern is there's already people parking in the street that's out there and in the yards. And so if you add more houses and more cars on that street, you're just going to have more people parking in the street and in the yards out there. And, there's no way for a fire truck that was trying to get to those houses in the back or on the old street to get through there. If there's people parking on that private drive street, trying to get to that is going to be very difficult. There's just a lot of issues like that for me that I'm concerned about, and I would propose that tonight we table this and revisit it at another time. I would like to make a motion.
Another time.
Well, yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we table this for 30 days and get some more information.
All right. Before we do that, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this plan development? Okay. You want to come forward, please? Okay.
I'm
need
sorry,
your name.
Jennifer McNeil, 281 North Winds Boulevard, Unit B3.
Okay.
B1, sorry, not B3. We've seen the signage up in our neighborhood for the planning meetings. Everyone we've tried to attend has been canceled, and several of the residents there just feel like we know absolutely nothing. So thank you for saying you'd like to table this until we learned more, because as a resident there, I would love to learn more. I took a little bit of exception to you saying that we park in the street a lot over there. It doesn't happen regularly, and me and a couple of the other folks there are constantly on people who are trying to park in the street, that we need to have this open for fire.
I spent a good little bit of time out there. I was involved in the development of the assisted living, or not assisted living, the apartment complex out there. And just about every time I rode down that street, there were people parked either in the street or in the yard. But
It's not been my experience, and I've lived there for 2 years.
right, yeah.
I think our bigger concern was, all the construction equipment coming in and damaging our private road, and then what? I mean, we can't even get the city out to fix it now.
The city doesn't own that street.
I understand.
which is part of my concern with adding development to that street when the city doesn't own the street. And you're 100% correct. Large truck traffic on that private drive, there's going to be damage. So
thank you
yeah.
for echoing all of my concerns. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if I can second his motion to table this for 30 days, I'm happy to do so.
Is there anyone else to speak in opposition of this project? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Ledbetter, would you restate your motion, please?
I would like to make a motion that we table this project for 30 days and gather more information from the developer and see if there's not a way to work with them to do this development, but maybe not to the extent that it is now. So, thank you.
Okay, I have a motion to table this for 30 days. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Okay.
And ma'am, I do appreciate your efforts out there very much. It
Always a concern. We have several elderly folks out there, and
right.
It's not safe for them.
Yeah.
And not just the folks in the apartment.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your efforts.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is the Morgan Road rezoning request. Mr. Brooks?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a request from Colin Bennett on behalf of Smith Douglas Homes. It's 24.73 acres, more or less, on Morgan Road. Their rezoning request, they're asking, they went to the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval with conditions of the rezoning request of 24.73 acres, more or less, and consisting of 2 tracts located on Morgan Road. The applicant is requesting to rezone Tract 1 from ER3, or Estate Residential, to RM, Residential Multifamily, with conditions, and Tract 2 from Residential Multifamily to Residential Multifamily with conditions, in order to combine the tracts and develop a subdivision with, at maximum, 69 units. It was originally going to be 90 units, but after they've done studies, the wetland studies and the land studies, that there will be at most 69 units out there. The recommendation for approval was contingent upon a long list of conditions, one of which significant condition is a mandatory homeowners association shall record and enforce declaration of covenants and restrictions for this community. Such covenants shall be recorded prior to the recording of a final plat. These covenants shall specifically and clearly incorporate all of the zoning conditions and restrictions. The HOA shall be charged with the right and obligation to enforce such covenants and restrictions prior to and after the issuance of building permits. Also, what they submit to us is binding in terms of elevation and floor plans and front aesthetics and those types of things. And I'm not going to read every condition. You guys have seen those and have them, and they're quite extensive. The Planning Commission, like I said, voted to recommend approval with those conditions. They voted, it was 4 voted in the affirmative, 1 voted against it, 1 abstained. That night there were 5 members from that community here to speak in opposition of the development, and I think tonight that we have the applicants here to speak in favor of, and I think we have several folks to speak in opposition as well. So just a reminder of the guidance that Mayor Kaysen set forth at the beginning.
Okay. Colin Bennett. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Colin Bennett with Smith Douglas Homes, 90 Tom Jones Road, Kingston, 30145. Yes, I work with Smith Douglas Homes, and like Mr. Brooks spoke to. The original site plan we did bring in for the planning commission showed 90 lots. We have since then gone back and done a wetland study, and there is a substantial creek on the eastern side of our property. Therefore, we're now showing 69 lots. And you can read through all of the conditions. We will have a mandatory HOA. We're a Woodstock-based home builder. We are a private home builder, built all over the metro, and then the out counties of Bartow, Floyd, and just primarily all over metro Atlanta. I believe that's all I got. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Do we have any questions of Mr. Bennett so far? Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
And I believe there's one more person here to speak for it as well.
Okay. So do I have someone else here to speak in favor of the development?
My name is John Denny. I live at 2345 Hayes Mill Road, Carrollton. I just wanted to make a couple of comments about existing conditions versus proposed. Right now, the 8.69 acre tract is zoned for 52 apartments or townhouses. The only restrictions would be the city minimums. And of course, the back 15 acres is zoned for estate residential. That would allow for only 5 units. Total of 57 housing units could be built on it as it is right now. There would be no restrictions on rental. They could all be rented. And what's proposed is about 69, 70 single family detached. I believe the minimum was, you're okay with a minimum of a 55-foot lot, I think, is the way they're laid out. And I guess y'all have a copy of the most recent one. There'd be a restriction of no more than 20% of the units could be rented. They have the architectural standards, of course, as you saw on the conditions, a mandatory HOA, and of course, one thing would be, in addition, is the full length of the property. Morgan Road would be paved at city standards, and it's from a respected builder with experience in the area, and I've certainly looked at some of their houses and would not be afraid to recommend what they're building. And that's, to me, that's a pretty good trade for our city.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Denny. Okay. I will remind you again when you come to speak, your name and your address. So do I have anyone here to speak in opposition of this development? Okay, sir.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Cochran. I live at 115 Old Airport Road, which is where Morgan Road ends on the left side where it comes out. And when them talking about paving the road, my only concerns is if you pave the road up to where the end of where their track is, the other end is all dirt road. With that being said, it does wash out a lot, and it's poorly maintained half the time. Me and another homeowner go out there and scrape up some of the gravel to put back onto the road till the county does come out and fix it. And my worry is with all these homes, they're either going to go out towards Turtle Cove or they're going to come out to Old Airport Road off of Morgan Road. With that being said, that's going to create more traffic through there. And with more traffic, the road's going to deteriorate faster. It already washes out when it rains, just like the rainstorm we had earlier today. Water runs across that area all the time, and with more vehicles, my worry is the road's going to just deteriorate from everything going through there. I just worry about, because we've talked to county also, and they're not going to want to pave the side that we live on, so it's going to continue to be dirt road. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cochran. How How much land, how much road is there between where the paved and where the dirt is? Do you know?
Between where they're wanting to start and all the way up to,
Where it goes into Old Airport Road?
so from where you have the curves on the far left side of the picture right there,
Yes, sir.
that is actually the back side of my property.
Uh-huh.
And I own 15 acres right there. And all that's dirt, all that curve is dirt, all the way up to the stop signs at the end of Turtle Cove. Right there to there's this four-way stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's paved all the way up to that, and then it is dirt road from there, beginning where they're wanting to start that 8 acres there, past the 15 acres on the roadside right there.
I think the question is if they pave up past their or to the end of their proposed subdivision, how much land, how much road is left that will be unpaved?
About 2,000 feet or more,
so
yes.
Okay.
Yes, from, even if they go from where the curve is right there, it's,
So it's about a third, a little over a third of them.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious how.
Yes, sir. And they're going out either way, there's no traffic lights, so people pull out of there all the time, and they speed down the dirt road anyways, and we tell people to slow down too, so.
Got one more question
Yes,
for
sir.
you. Do y'all already have people from like Turtle Cove and stuff cutting through there?
Oh, yes, sir. We also have people who don't even live in Turtle Cove. When there's a traffic accident coming down 166 or down the bypass, people will come down Shady Grove or come up Morgan Road to cut down Old Airport Road because there are two gas stations at the end of Old Airport Road, the Quick Trip and the Raceway.
Mm-hmm.
So people cut through there all the time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cochran. You're
So,
welcome.
Just quick, could I ask a
Oh,
question?
I'm sorry. Mr. Cochran, I think Councilman Waters has a question for you.
Well, I was just wondering, so you have talked to somebody at the county and they are not interested in,
This
Hey.
lady has, yes, because she's
Okay.
been coming up to me. She can speak more on that side.
and maybe we already know that. I wasn't aware that the county wasn't interested in paving.
My name is Deborah Hubbard. I live at 70 King Drive. I own the property at 115 King Drive. I apologize, only made 2 packets. My understanding, I was only standing in front of 2 people tonight. So if anyone would care to have them, because I'm not good with reading statistics and things of that nature. So, and again, I apologize. I thought it was just supposed to be 2. The last one I thought was the big meeting. So,
You said 115.
yes,
So you're at the end of the road.
115 is my property. I purchased that property in 2010. In approximately a year, I will be moving to that piece from down on 70 until I'm leaving Georgia, you guys. I'm getting run out. Sorry. But I've done signed contracts and I'm headed west. But today, I wanted to let you know that the 15.9 has been annexed to the city. That was prior to my purchase. But Morgan Road does belong to the county. And he says that he will not be accepting. I've talked with commissioners and things, and the county does not intend to accept the other 2/10 of that dirt road that starts right at the point. And if you look in the things, some of them will show you how Morgan Road goes out to Old Airport. The other thing, if the neighbors chose to allow that to be done, they're going to be forced to each give up 25 feet of their properties on each side. And they're not willing, and I don't blame them. So, but not to mention that they each run somewhat of farms on those properties. Whenever we were at the last meeting, I believe the young man that spoke earlier, Mr. Bennett, told us outside he was going to be a good neighbor. Well, I have a proposal for a good neighbor, and that would be to start where They plan to entrance and go all the way down the neighborhood of the old airport road. That's on Pond Drive, I believe. In your diagrams here, you can see that. And therefore, people that have purchased those homes in the county years ago would not be basically, I'm going to say, intruded on. You know, I mean, they've had their homes for 30-plus years, and now all of a sudden they're going to have back-to-back homes in their backyard.
Ma'am, have you seen this is a new drawing for us as well tonight, so,
Yes, sir.
so there's no houses backing up to Pond Drive, correct?
No, sir. Well, maybe one. It does not appear now.
Okay, maybe one or two.
So,
The
now,
new
my
plat
one
went-
concern on that is the green space that they had potentially presented to go in as an entrance on that 2/10 of a road. That is my side yard, okay? And I do not want to be that to come a puppy dog potty ground, okay?
Ma'am, the,
But
go ahead.
the residents there, as I said, would have to voluntarily give it up. And now, unfortunately, the man that spoke here second, he told us that he didn't care, that was the county's problem. Well, myself, I pay 2 taxes in my county, and all these folks pay taxes. So we care, okay? Because it was my understanding that that blacktop only goes up to the start there. There are traffic statistics in these papers here that tells you this came through the DOT, through Carroll County commissioners and things out here of the traffic that is on the old airport road. I believe that's 4,760 cars a day already, and the north side drive over there is 32,700. And neither one of them have a light to support either exit or entrance. And if you're coming out and need to go, if going down Chick-fil-A, you got to go up, hit a light, come down, whatever, okay? I mean, I'm just saying that potentially we're putting a lot more cars down in here. On the previous stats, the Georgia record states that it's like considered 10 times each home a day, so if they've reduced that to 69 lots, I guess 690 more travels in and out. So, my concern for your old airport side is fortunately our city has nice walkways, we have nice buttons to push. We do have a lot of foot traffic in this day and time. There are no sidewalks that support Old Airport Road, even down to the Quick Trip or the Raceway. And you can look at the crosses on the side of the road where there's already people their lives have been surrendered to somebody hitting them. So, pretty much, they've already told us the wetlands are going to be omitted. That was prior to my research on this. And my only suggestion are for our community to live and be a good neighbor would be the potential of fence lining all the way down there. And personally, I want a fence all the way down my side if I'm green space and they're taking my whole 100 and something feet next to me, okay?
Just so I understand, you're talking about fencing the dirt, what's a dirt road all the way up to Old
No,
Airport?
sir, if you look at the first diagram, that's the wetlands. And I mean, just, if you look at the crime statistics, our little area is not great, But the 30117 is worse. 30116 has a C for crime statistics. 30117 has a D. Unfortunately, you have city schools versus county schools and the animosities that's been there for the years that the kids have conflicted. I potentially think a privacy fence down through there to protect the neighbors so people learn to get along might be of an essence to assist in this. So, and pretty much that's my mouth, and I didn't faint on you guys. So, you got any? I hope I covered for my neighbors and friends, and like I said, I'm leaving. I'm not going to do it.
All right.
So,
Does anybody have any questions of Ms. Hubbard?
Ms. Hubbard, I'd like to point out that the new plat that has been proposed to us tonight eliminates anybody backing up to one of these new homes. You won't have a new home against your property. In fact, there'll be a wetland buffer between you and the first potential house, and several of the other lots that run down, I guess it would be Pond Drive.
yes, sir.
There might be one house on Pond Drive that would have a couple of homes behind it. The new proposal. So if you've only seen the original proposal, yes, there were houses backed up to all of those homes on Pond Drive, but with the new proposal, it eliminates, houses backing up to all those properties. So,
But it still allows for the common grounds and the entrance. And unfortunately, some of them, my neighbors have just experienced in the last week, homeless people and stuff that come down through there. They come, I think it's off of their properties usually, and trail through 115. And if this is going to be a common space, I said, not being ugly, I don't want my yard to become the dog potty station for all the community there either.
yeah, I'm not sure what entrance you're talking about to the development.
If you look
Out there at the
King Drive.
115, if you look on the first diagram here, you'll see the blue wetlands. That is coming from the old airport roadside.
Right.
And the 2/10 of that road is not there. And one of the reasons the county doesn't want that is there's a house sitting, how many feet, Noah, off of that road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And they
I've
want
seen that.
25 of his property, it's not happening, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, I've seen the
Okay.
house that's sitting, very, very close to that dirt road, which is probably one of the primary reasons that the county would not want to pave that road and acquire right of way and that
Yes,
kind of
sir.
thing, or take right of way. So I don't really blame them for not wanting to participate in that.
I do not know on their new production of proposal where I do not even see the entrance quite there at the wetlands like it was before. I'm not able to read it on this screen well.
All right, so your new plan is this, you're coming in this way, and it's stopping here. This is gonna be driveways here to each one of these, there will not be a road no longer in this area.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, this back is all they're working on now in this area.
Okay. Well, where is that going to exit out that might encourage the renters and tenants of this
Before there
area to
wasn't.
go to Morgan Road? I mean, well, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah, the entrance that was on the original proposal there at the end of the property is gone, so
Good,
that,
good.
that should alleviate that concern.
We didn't have that.
Yeah, we just got it tonight, so.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Hubbard.
Thank y'all.
All right, we
I
have-
appreciate it. Sorry I didn't come with enough papers for
That's
everybody.
okay.
Oh, you're,
We have 1 minute left on the opposition side. Yes, ma'am.
Melissa Wright, 95 Pond Drive. I am fourth from the end. My neighbor Darren on the end looks like it's going to have 2 houses now behind his property. There's just going to be a short space where I already tried to tell him it's super wet, but those 3 little stacked houses right there, that's right in my backyard. Right. Go 4 from the end. One more.
what
Yeah.
lot are you on?
95.
Okay. What's your address, Miss Wright?
My address is 95 Pond Drive.
95 Pond Drive. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And I'm built on lot 85 and part of 95 because there is water and they couldn't build, so they had to build less houses. But are they planning on leaving where the trees and everything up where they are? Where they're not building? Where the water is? Are they going to come in and destroy that?
If those are wetlands, ma'am, there'll be things eliminating them from getting in there and disturbing the wetlands. They wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
Good, good. Because there is a creek that runs through there, and it curves, and it comes all the way through my yard. So when it rains, the runoff comes up, and it floods up into my yard, and it has flooded the culvert so bad that it's washed all the dirt out from around the culvert. I'm trying to get them to come out there and do some work on the street again. But my neighbor next door to me, his front yard goes down. So when that culvert gets, he has to park on the street and walk through water, knee-high, to get to his house. And our driveways are very, very long, and there's still 4 or 5 cars in every single driveway. And there's not enough driveway space, there's not enough parking space, there's not any way that they're not gonna, like you were saying about the other, parking in the street, parking in the yard.
Okay.
Having
Yeah.
it look tacky. I mean,
Unfortunately, that's in the county, and we don't have jurisdiction over that.
I'm talking about what y'all are building, not mine. I'm talking about, there's gonna be too many cars for these smaller lots that they have.
Well, these houses are proposed to have 2-car garages, which would allow 2 cars in the garage and would have space to park 2 cars out into the driveway.
I have 4 cars.
Well, ma'am, I'm just saying that there would be accommodation with these homes that have been proposed here to park 4 cars, 2 in the garage and 2 in the driveway. The previous issue we were talking about was it was a single-car garage, and if the driveway was only the width of that single-car garage, that would only allow for 2 cars to be parked there.
So that is an improvement, but not running the road all the way up to Old Airport Road, that is suicidal. Airport Road is like this. Morgan Road comes up to it.
Okay.
It's a great elevation, so you can't see anybody when they're coming up out of there.
Okay.
So when you come up off of that road, you're just coming right out into traffic.
Okay.
And she's right,
Miss-
a lot of people.
Okay. Miss Wright, I'm sorry.
So we just don't care?
No, that's not the case. It's we don't have any jurisdiction over it. It's not that we don't care. There's just not anything we can do about it.
Okay, if we don't
Okay.
plan to pave just part of Morgan Road, you could do that. You could
Okay.
stop that.
All right, Miss Wright, that entrance has been cut out, so it won't go up there. If that was my understanding.
I mean, not paving Morgan Road all the way out. It's just going to the farms that are on the end, the people that have animals along there.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your comments. Okay, that concludes the 10 minutes for the opposition. I'm sorry, sir. The time's up. If I start making exceptions, then we'll be here. Okay, all right. Well, thank you. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the proposal as proposed?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry. Is there any discussion or
No,
questions?
Can I, just to be real clear, so, Morgan Road, they are gonna pave it to the end of their property, is that right?
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be a unimproved
County road.
dirt road.
Just like it is now.
No
and-
different than it is now.
Is there gonna
Okay.
be any reason that cars wouldn't go out that direction now?
Well,
So it's gonna be,
I'm gonna drive on a paved road. If I have the option of driving on a paved road or a dirt road, I'm gonna probably drive on a paved road. So, we're getting
Okay, we're getting way off balance here, so we need to, Councilman Uglem, again, what was your question directly?
so, I guess my question is that, if the builders and the county, neither one of them are inclined to pave the rest of the way, is that right?
That's right, because there's only, my understanding is at the end of that road that there's not enough to even have the right-of-way that you would need to have that as an improved road, to meet the requirements of a paved road. in the
Bob,
county.
there's a house that probably sits about 15 feet off of the dirt road right now. And so the county, in order to pave that road and improve it, would have to condemn that house and to get the right of way that they need to pave a road through there. So they're not interested in doing that, and there's no other homes or very few any other homes that access that road on Morgan Road. So that's why the county's not interested in doing that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is resolution of the Mayor and Council, Resolution 5-2022.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is just a resolution to adopt our zoning map. We've made some updates and basically have consolidated all our split parcels. I wanted to specifically give a shout out to Miss Erica Stoddard and her team. They sent out all the letters of the folks who had split parcels. Nobody's was changed. Everybody had an opportunity to give a preference on what they would like theirs to be. But for those of you that might understand what we're talking about, is somebody might have two parcels of land and they own it and they're adjacent parcels, and one of them be zoned residential multifamily and the other be ER3. You know, it didn't make sense the way they were zoned, so we combined those with how they worked with where they were at to be in line with all the other zonings in the area that they were at. And so a lot of work that Ms. Stutter did and to make sure that we get that. Ms. Beaver helped out a lot, and Lacey Campbell, so I appreciate their efforts, and they did a really nice job with it. The Planning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend approval of to readopt the zoning map, and there was nobody speaking in opposition at the Planning Commission meeting.
So you all have a copy of the resolution.
Yeah, Ms. Stutter, do you have anything to add?
Okay, I really do appreciate it. And we sent letters out to everyone that this affected. And the only, we got a little bit of response saying that, they were just questioning what we were doing. And once it was explained, and most people appreciated it because a lot of them probably didn't even realize that there was two different zoning. I mean, what it basically comes down to is your front yard might be zoned one thing and your side yard might be zoned something else. So it just kind of cleaned it all up, and it'll make it a lot easier for in the future. So a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Carrollton, state of Georgia, to adopt a new city of Carrollton zoning map, whereas in September 2007, the mayor and council adopted a unified development ordinance and corresponding zoning map that govern the use and development of real property within the city of Carrollton. And whereas when the map was adopted, multiple tax parcels were identified on the map as split zoned with multiple zoning designation. And whereas in 2022, the city began migrating parcels and zoning data into a publicly available GIS system. And whereas in the effort to provide precise zoning and land use regulation, the split zone parcels needed a single zoning designation. And whereas the mayor and council find it in the public interest to provide constant and accurate zoning and the land use regulation by adopting a new City of Carrollton zoning map. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the City of Carrollton do hereby adopt the new City of Carrollton zoning map presented to the mayor and council during a public meeting held on June 6, 2022, and attached hereto is as Exhibit A, adopted the 6th day of June 2022. Okay, is there any public comments to be made, since this is a public hearing about the zoning map? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
I so move that motion.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. All right. The next item on our agenda is the adoption of, public hearing regarding our 2020-23 budget, fiscal year 2022-23 budget. And we have Mr. Kevin Bush who's going to present this. Now, I will, again, we are now in a public hearing concerning the budget. Okay? Thank you, Kevin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to see everyone today. I actually want to start the meeting with explaining why I'm here tonight, which is our esteemed Finance Director and City Clerk, Mr. Jim Triplett, is celebrating his 40th wedding anniversary with his wife this weekend. So we just want to honor him. Also, when I talked to him earlier today, he said in all these years at the city, he has never missed a budget hearing. So this is his first, so it's definitely an honor to get to be here for him today. So you received a copy of the draft of the proposed FY23 operating budget a few weeks ago at our May work session. Today, as part of the public hearing on the budget, we'd like to go over a few of the highlights of next year's fiscal budget. I'd like to say on behalf of Jim Triplett and the Finance Department, a special thanks to Mr. Brooks and all of our department heads for assembling and managing their budgets for the upcoming year. They're all great people who work really hard to stay within their means and make great stewards of taxpayer money, and we're very grateful for that. The total projected budget for our three main operating funds, general, water, and sanitation for FY23, is $58,170,892. This represents a 6% increase from the current FY22 budget of $54,883,095. So I'll go over a few of the highlights of the revenues and expenditures, and we have some graphs on the board for visuals. As a city, we're blessed with a great diverse mix of revenues. As you can see from the map, we're not really completely reliant on just taxes or sales taxes. So that is very blessed in case of any economic downturns that we have many sources of income. One of our major sources, obviously, is our ad valorem taxes. Our budgeted property taxes for the new fiscal year are $4,550,000. This is a $250,000 increase from the current year, but I do want to make a note that that is keeping us revenue neutral this year. That is not a $250,000 increase or a millage rate increase. This is based on keeping us revenue neutral, and it's because in the prior year we had very conservative budgeting because we didn't know what was going to be happening, so we budgeted low, but we actually received about $4.5 million this year. So this is to keep us on that same track for next year for funding. Our title ad valorem tax on vehicles is $900,000, which is a $50,000 increase from the prior year. Also, our sales tax revenue is budgeted at $5,825,000. This is a 12% increase from this year of $625,000. Thanks to a strong retail economy in our local area, also the rising cost of goods and services, we've seen great strength in sales tax this year. Obviously, when the price of stuff goes up, well, the percent tax on all that goes up too, and that means more money generated for the city. So even that bad thing turns into a good thing for us. Also, our utility franchise fees are expected to be consistent with last year, with just a moderate 0.9% increase in our natural gas projections. Franchise fees for our utilities was one thing that really hit us during COVID when the university partially shut down. Our Georgia Power went down about $200,000, and then we have seen that rebound this year. So we're expecting that we're going to keep on that same pace for this coming year. So that's very great. Another one of our big items is our intergovernmental revenues. These are results of revenues generated from intergovernmental agreements with federal, state, and other local governments. Also encompasses our internal transfers between our enterprise funds and our general fund. For this coming year, we have budgeted a transfer from the water fund of $3 million. This is a decrease of $700,000 from the current year. Also, we have budgeted salary and benefit reimbursements from the water and sanitation funds of $2.2 million. And this is to reimburse the general fund for core administrative functions. If you think like finance, well, we do the whole city, and IT and HR. So those entities that kind of benefit the city as a whole, those enterprise funds reimburse the city for that. And that also helps us be able to use that to fund the operations of the city versus just our tax base, which is a great strength from having healthy enterprise funds. Also, revenues from our indirect cost allocation for the facilities and supplies for this coming year are $1,782,449. That is a 4.7% increase from the prior year. Also on the intergovernmental side, one of the great assets that we have had in the last year is our mental health crisis response unit. It's been going on for just over a year, and we obtained a 3-year, $550,000 federal grant to help subsidize that. And we also have intergovernmental agreements with the county to help fund some of those programs. And so we have budgeted $80,000 for salary reimbursements and $200,000 in federal grant revenue to help cover those expenses. Also, we receive a reimbursement from the county recreation department for the county residents who utilize our city recreation facilities and programs. That's budgeted at $129,000. We also have a $300,000 nutrition grant for senior citizen meals and home delivery. That's a $50,000 increase. And also our city school board reimbursement for crossing guards and resource officers is at the current level. We've also, on fines and forfeitures, we have budgeted the same as last year at $1 million. Our insurance premium tax, $2,125,000. Our occupational taxes, $1,600,000, which is an 8% increase due to strong current and new businesses that are investing in Carrollton. Our license and permit revenues are a total of $675,000. We budgeted those to be pretty flat, mostly because of we have a moderate increase in building permit revenue, especially with all this new stuff we have going on. So we didn't want to go too far with it. So we believe that that $50,000 increase will be attainable in this year. Under charges for services, which is where we basically charge people for like recreation or cultural arts events or facilities. Those are budgeted at $1,170,000 for the upcoming fiscal year. Of that, the rec department is $756,000, and the Cultural Arts Department is $413,000. Those are not increases in the actual fees to citizens, but that's based upon their anticipated projections of how many people they think are going to participate in those programs, and then using that to come up with a calculation of what they expect the revenue will be. So we're very excited about all the new things that we're doing, trying to get some more adult involvement in our recreation programs, and excited about what's coming up. So thank you for that. And then on our other financing sources for the general fund, this year we have proposed only using $119,000 of fund balance to balance the budget. In the previous year, the amount was $1.1 million, so that was a great indicator. We're not having to use as much fund balance to balance this year's budget, especially when we're in a situation of uncertainty and rising costs. Being able to get this balanced in that short of a fashion is very, very positive. So that's the revenue side for the general fund. On the expenditure side, our total general fund expenditures are also $32,082,579. This encompasses the police, fire, recreation and cultural arts, streets and engineering, general administration, and community development. Now, some highlights of all the expenditures for the city as a whole. We have budgeted with a cost of living adjustment for our employees of 3%, plus a one-time $1,000 incentive to help employees offset the rising costs of inflation. That's a great way we can do that without raising the entire base for going forward, but also able to support our employees. We have budgeted group insurance at an 8% increase. We actually will not get those insurance figures. They're on a calendar year. So since we're fiscal year, they'll actually come in October for next January. So when we get those actual figures, we'll use that and reassess, see where we are on revenues and figure out if we're able to get it within that 8% or see how we need to restructure. Property and liability insurance is budgeted at a 5% increase from the previous year. On gasoline and diesel, we have budgeted for gasoline increases among most of the various departments, but that's another item that we're going to be keeping a close eye on for amendment. So if everything can tick back, we would be really excited, but that's going to be a really hot item that we're looking at because there's a significant cost, especially for all of our patrolling and police and fire and those types of things. So we'll be keeping an eye on that and informing you if we need to make any adjustments for that. In the capital expenditures, especially for general funds, we have only budgeted essential need items. I think some IT infrastructure and stuff like that. Pretty much from a capital perspective, if there's anything we can pay for out of our SPLOST funding and the sales tax, we would prefer to use it from there. So we have budgeted accordingly to pay from those sales tax proceeds and then not use our general funds. And the good news is, of all this in the general fund, our three major expense categories are police, fire, and recreation. Our police budget, considering inflation too, has only gone up 1.4%. Fire is only going up 2.96%, and recreation is only going up 2.1%. So thank you to those leaders who really manage their budgets to keep those tight. All right, we can go to the next slide, Haley. On the water fund budget is $19,478,884. This is a 6.6% increase over the prior year. Once again, we have a pretty considerable revenue mix there from our water sewer sales and also our tap fees. In this year, we have budgeted just a little under $1 million for fund balance allocation from that fund, which should be more than enough considering all the assets that we're going to have from infrastructure improvements within that fund. For the expenditures on that side, it's the same highlights as all the general funds, the 3% COLA, the $1,000 incentive, the 8% group insurance, the 5% property and liability. Also, we budgeted the $3 million transfer to the general fund and also $760,000 of debt service. So this is to cover our current revenue bond, and also, if you'll recall, we have just started on the GFA loan for the sediment pond. So we're going to have some small repayments on that, so we have budgeted for that accordingly. Also, this covers repairs and maintenance on the water tanks. I think everybody's probably seen the big halos out on Maple Street and the huge shower curtain on the water tank, so those have been budgeted within that. And also very significant increases in chemical costs at our plant. Those costs have gone up over 60%. So those are managed, and also over $2 million in infrastructure and equipment upgrades. And then on the sanitation fund, that budget is $6,609,429, which represents a 17.8% increase. Now, the bulk of that increase is due to landfill fees. We have budgeted this year $2.1 million for that, and that is due to a 40% rate increase from the county on the landfill fees for the transfer station. So accordingly, we had to adjust our expenses to be able to cover that. And also, we're using fund balance allocation of $755,429 in this current year to help offset some of that. And once again, it has the same highlights as all the others on the COLA, group health, and the property and liability insurance. And then finally, just a quick discussion about the hotel motel tax fund. So in the city of Carrollton, we collect an 8% sales tax on our hotel and motel. So this is not something that citizens typically pay. It's going to be visitors and outside people that come to our community and provide this. We're budgeting $880,000 for this coming year of hotel motel tax funds. I'll tell you that we had a record month a couple of months ago. We had $100,000 in 1 month in hotel motel tax. That's the first time ever we were in six figures, which was really exciting. So these funds are utilized to fund tourism and product development, and also our contracts with the Visitors Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce. So we're not using taxpayer money with that. The visitors are paying that money on their hotel motel tax, and we're turning that around to promote ourselves even more so that we just turn around and get more revenue. So it's really just a great thing, but it makes Carrollton look so much better everywhere in the state of Georgia and around the nation. So it's a very positive. So this is just our required hearing on the budget. There's not a vote this evening. The vote's going to occur next meeting at the July 11th meeting, and Jim and I are both available for any questions you have between now and then, and always, if you ever have anything, we're here for you. So with that, I'll turn it back to the mayor.
All right, thank you, Kevin, for an outstanding job, and we are, again, so blessed to have the employees that we do, and they manage so well, and they are good stewards of our tax dollars, and we really do appreciate that. Okay, is there any comments for our public hearing on the budget? Okay, hearing none, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm ready to. We still got 10 more.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought maybe I could get by. I guess I didn't. Wishful thinking. Yeah, we're getting there. All right, moving on to our next item.
Yes, ma'am. We got several budget amendments that we talked about and went through at our last work session. Kevin's going to briefly go through those for us, and we will vote on these tonight.
Yeah, the word there is briefly, so I'm going to be as quick as I can. I know that's not a lot of fun. We all want to go home to our families. The first budget amendment is to $20,000 to fund additional training and travel expenses within the mayor and council department. As we discussed, this is related to just timing. The GMA conference and the Cities United conferences having two fall within the same year because of the July and the June and where our fiscal year is and having those expenses. So that's a result of that. The second budget amendment is to fund additional costs related to community and public relations of $20,000. And this is part of the newly established youth council, some of the expenses we incurred with that, and generally just the community and business relations that y'all are doing as a council, reaching out to the community, trying to stay involved and being active in the community, which we appreciate. Those costs are going to be funded by both of those are going to be funded by our higher than anticipated occupational tax revenue. So basically, we're going to increase that budgeted revenue that we've already received, and that's what's going to be used to fund that. The third is to fund building and property purchases that have already been approved by council of about $1.6 million. These purchases will be funded by our higher than expected sales tax revenue, increasing that $900,000. Y'all remember in the budget meeting, I was talking about how well that's done. We're actually going to show $900,000 of additional revenue that's come in on the sales tax this year, and then we're only going to have to use $680,000 worth of fund balance to fund that $1.6 million of property that we've purchased this year, which is great. The fourth amendment is to fund additional expenditures to Carroll County for the state court solicitor and public defender salaries through June 30th. That's $105,000. These items were overlooked in the budget process. I think we were ending some of those relationships, and we didn't realize that we need to give proper notice. So we've extended that to June 30th. We have funds available to do that, and those are going to be funded by higher than expected ad valorem taxes. So we're going to increase that budget revenue to offset. The fifth is to fund additional legal expenditures incurred during the fiscal year of $65,000, and those will be funded by higher than expected building permit revenue. And the final one, the sixth, is to record expenditures for the employee vaccine incentive payments that were funded by the American Rescue Plan. So this is just our administrative side to make sure we fund that from the grant, show the revenues on the general fund and the water fund, the sanitation fund, and credit out all those payroll costs that were not originally budgeted and fund those expenditures over in that line item. So those are the 6 of budget amendments, and we submit them.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions of Mr. Bush? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the budget amendments as presented?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, our next item of business is the appointment of Carrollton Arts Commission members.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. These, we discussed this in our work session as well. Marilyn Glass will be coming off. They have asked that, recommended Mimi Gentry succeed her. Penny Ayers is coming off. They have recommended Dr. Howard Seaman to succeed her. And Katie Gambrell is coming off, and they have recommended Brett Baxley to complete her term. So those are, we'd need to vote on those tonight. Those are recommendations from April Saunders, our Marketing and Communications Director, on behalf of the Performing Arts.
Okay, is there any other nominations? Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion to accept the proposed appointments to the Arts Commission?
I so move that motion.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Before we adjourn, I just want to say that we need to remember our former mayor, Walt Hollingsworth, who's having some medical issues, and I understand is having to really fight for his health right now. So just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none.